Happy holidays and welcome to driving an SATX. There's never a shortage of stupid driving moves in this city. Let's get to it. Alright, here's our first subject right in front of me. Now this driver either doesn't see this yield sign right here, or doesn't see this speeding car right here, or even worse than that, doesn't see either one of them. But I think there's something worse than all of that combined happening here. Something just plain evil. I think despite all we know about driver safety, and despite all the signs on the highway that tell us how many thousands of people have lost their lives on the road in Texas this year alone, this person just couldn't be bothered to look in their mirror or over their shoulder to check and see if a car was coming. And this kind of driver is one of the reasons that number always gets as high as it does. This kind of driver is out here risking their own as well as other people's lives. On the way out of town here, we have another case of the same thing. Someone who was only able to confirm that they needed to get over into the next lane. Never mind that it's a passing lane, and it's quite possible that a vehicle could be passing at that very moment. When you see the results of huge accidents with multiple cars totaled, people transported to the hospital with life-threatening injuries, families losing a loved one, changing their lives forever, in many cases, it starts with a stupid move like this. Here we have a case of just plain reckless driving. See, what's happening here is as this blue vehicle is coming over, there's a black Nissan coming up in this lane pretty quickly. Now imagine blue over there saw the amount of space and thought it was safe to come over, but failed to account for how fast the Nissan was going. Now, what you don't quite see in this video is that the Nissan saw the blue car coming over, and rather than apply any brake at all to slow down, he impulsively began to move the steering wheel to change lanes to his right. That is, just a half a second before he confirmed that I was in that lane. So when he comes into frame, he's actually correcting to avoid hitting me. Then he has no choice but to finally hit his brake. And rather than just slow down for a bit and regroup and consider the danger that's being stacked up as he makes each move, he quickly lets off the brake and dangerously jumps into the lane in front of me and hits the gas again. Safety is just nowhere to be found for this driver. And we have our families out here on these roads. I have mentioned before that I hold professional drivers to a higher standard. Not only are their jobs at stake, but more importantly, their safety and the safety of everyone on the road around them, including me, you, and all of our loved ones. Here's another professional driver being dangerously careless for no reason. Now, as you can see, this cement truck is in the right lane, going just a tad slower than I am. A professional driver should do no less than check that giant mirror that has been mounted just for this purpose and see that I'm coming faster than he is driving and not move over in front of me. This driver does not do any of this. So I try to give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe, just maybe, this guy absolutely had to turn left at the upcoming intersection and saw no room behind me to get over and thought this was his only chance. We approach the next intersection. Nope, no turn. Just another stupid driving move. Another case including a professional driver, but this is the kind that drives the biggest, most potentially lethal vehicle there is, an 18-wheeler. Now there are a lot of truckers out there who have nothing but respect for the road, have perfect records and are always on alert for the purpose of safe driving. But there are also many that just plain like to be bullies on the road. And I think this is what this driver is trying to do. The Mustang that just came into frame from the left is in the fast lane, clearly going faster than the flow of traffic, and again, a professional driver should be able to recognize this and choose to safely wait for the car to pass. This truck though thought he could intimidate the Mustang and almost causes an accident. To be clear, if you think the Mustang was driving a bit too fast in this clip, I don't disagree with you, but it's never a reason to risk an accident with a move like this. Some drivers may experience that their brake pads wear down faster than others, causing them to have to be replaced more frequently, costing a good chunk of money when it doesn't have to. And I can assure you, this is one of those drivers. I would like to point out that there's nobody in front of our subject here. There's nothing but wide open blacktop. The driver is exiting, and I know we must slow down a bit, but when I got behind him we were already close to the posted 40-mile-an-hour speed limit, and this car brakes all the way down the ramp, then crosses the double solid line, which is something that I'm starting to realize not many people understand the significance of this. But bottom line, you aren't supposed to cross these. As you can see, there's plenty of room to slow down and move over safely, just like the SUV up ahead did. Coming down I-10, enjoying a beautiful shot of our skyline when I encounter white Mitsubishi. As these two levels merge, I have to get into the left lane. I'm waiting for a safe, legal chance to do so. At the same time, white Mitsubishi needs to get into my lane. Of course, in addition to our old friend double solid line, I'm also driving right here, on pretty much their quarter panel right now. All this driver has to do is a quick look in the mirror, or even better, a quick glance over the shoulder to check their blind spot to see that I am here, with my car, driving my family. As stupid as it is, I think there really are drivers who believe the blinker is a cheat code that automatically gives you the right of way, like this is a game. Here I'd like to show you just how much opportunity there was for white Mitsubishi to safely wait for a chance to move over. I would also like to point out that it isn't even like they had to hurry in order to move over multiple lanes. They were in all that hurry just for the one lane. There are many people driving around with more concern for their own entitlement than anything else. That's what we have with these two drivers here. Both of these drivers realize they need to turn around and go the other way, so they're prepared for the classic U-turn. But in this case, the U-turn is clearly not allowed. The reason for this, in this case, is that because there's no driveway to turn into over here, there was no lane designated for turning. So when the car stops right here to wait for traffic to clear to make a U-turn while the light is green, they're impeding traffic that's obeying the law, which makes me the victim of this violation. Signs are posted for a reason, people. So this is something that I see way too much. Watch, my light turned green, which means this light turned red. This driver decides to take it anyway. We all know the light is yellow for 5 seconds, so this car knew it was turning red and made the decision to go anyway. A lot of people do this and don't think it's a big deal. I know it was just a second late, and nobody really got slowed down in this case, but imagine if all of us just decided to ignore the light for our own convenience. It's not smart or safe. Here we have this new light that was put up on Austin Highway. Now the way this light works is a new concept on this road anyway, I will say that. But the sign up there clearly states what is expected of drivers. The light can be activated by pedestrians to give them a safe chance to get across these 5 lanes. The sign says, stop on red, stop on flashing red, then proceed if clear. Fortunately for the pedestrians, these drivers have no issue with the words, stop on flashing red. This allows them to get across safely. Unfortunately, for those of us that understand the entire sign, these drivers have a serious issue with the words, proceed if clear. This is another double solid line case, which like so many others is so much more than just that. See, this driver finds his or herself behind this trailer, which happens to be going slower than the truck prefers. But the driver is in this lane with a double solid line. These lines are like this because the curve that is coming up ahead is what we all around here call the Fine Silver Curve. It's named after the historic building that sits just inside of the curve, but moreover it's notorious for big accidents by drivers who don't respect the danger of this curve. Kinda like this driver here. The warning signs approaching were so big and blatant because of the history of accidents on this curve. This driver, though, decides to hit the gas and cross the double solid line to pass this truck, speeding into the roundest part of this dangerous turn. Never mind that before it reached the double solid line, they could clearly see that they were approaching the trailer and had plenty of room to move over safely and legally. This next clip involves a big Penske truck. Now I know this isn't necessarily a professional driver. Anyone with a license can rent one of these trucks. But if you're going to choose to rent one, load it up, and attach a trailer with a whole other vehicle behind it, you might want to do us all a favor and obey the laws. As you can see, I'm approaching in the fast lane, also known as the passing lane, because I am traveling faster than these vehicles and am about to pass them. I notice the Penske truck suddenly brakes, causing the truck behind it to brake, leaving us both wondering what the deal is. Then the truck activates the left blinker and comes into the passing lane where I am approaching. I think to myself, there has to be a car over there that I can't see that this truck was trying to get around. There is no way this truck up and decided to get into the passing lane with nobody to pass. I move around the truck on the right because I absolutely needed confirmation that this truck had a valid reason for what it just did, but there was only confirmation that this was a very stupid driving move. Finally, we have this loaded pickup right here. This guy wants to take 410 south. He just passed under this huge sign that tells him that the next exit to 410 south is coming up on the right 2 lanes. The only issue is that this big rig is preventing him from getting into those lanes. Fortunately, these signs alert us at least a quarter mile in advance, so this truck has a chance to speed up or do whatever it needs to adjust and get into the exit lane with a safe maneuver. Instead, he decides to sit in the same lane, doesn't even put a blinker on to let this truck know that he needs to move over, and makes a dangerous move at the last minute, cutting across the front of the big rig. I really don't get it. I've had enough for today. Thanks for watching. If you like watching these stupid driving moves, hit like and subscribe. We do this every week.